Welcome back to week 2 of the slow build. Today is currently Tuesday. I'm going to have yet another easy run today. Quick recap of last week. I did 18 miles overall for 5 runs, the longest of which was 4 miles. This week the goal is to hit 21 miles, so just a 3-mile increase, not doing too much, but just taking it slow and steady because I have the time, so might as well. Today on the docket we got a 4-mile run, which hopefully go without any problems. The end of last week I had a couple of issues with my knee again. I was starting to feel it a little bit, so I cut back and I didn't run yesterday even though I planned on it. But yeah, hopefully this week goes better and goes to plan. Something that I wanted to go through as part of this series was the strength work that I've been doing every week. I haven't been running a ton of miles, but that also enables me to put some time into other things. That includes strength work, so all of the muscles around my legs and lower body and my core. It's enabled me to have more time to do that, so I wanted to take you guys through what I'm doing during the week. As a basic overview, there's 3 different kind of circuits that I go through. I try to hit them at least once a week, maybe twice if I have the time and I'm feeling like it. But the circuits include workouts for my glutes, for balance and plyometrics, my calves, and then also a lunge circuit for my knees and my quads. So I'll be taking you through those 3 that I'm doing this week, but for now we have a 4-mile easy run today, so I'm going to go get changed, get that done, and I'll see you back here. Alright, run is complete. We did 5 miles today instead of 4. Plan was 4, but I was feeling good. The weather was fantastic. My leg felt fine, so I did 5, so I don't have to worry about extra mileage later in the week. I just worried about it today and enjoyed it instead. But it was a solid 5 miles. Like I said, the weather was fantastic. It was about 40 degrees and sunny with no wind, so I couldn't have asked for a better day to go out for a run. My knee felt fine. I found a strange little circumstance. When I try and consciously run slower, it affects my form and then my knee hurts. But when I run a little bit faster, my knee doesn't hurt as much, but my heart rate's a little elevated. So I don't know. It's confusing, it's funny, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. But it was a very good day overall today, but now it's time to do our strength work. And our strength work today is primarily revolved around our glutes. Now this is 15-20 minute max circuit that you can do right after your run. It doesn't take much time at all. But like I said, we're going to be focusing on your glutes. Now, people usually think when you hear core, you think it's just your visible abs, what you have on your stomach here, but there's more to it than that. Your core is so much more, and it involves, yes, your abdomen, your stomach, and these muscles around this area, but also your hips, your glutes, and your lower back. So it extends all the way around your midsection. So anything in this midsection, hips, glutes, abdomen, lower back, that's going to be your core. So that's why it's important, especially for runners, to work on your glutes and making sure those are strong, because they're very important to keeping you stable while you're running. And you can decide if you want to do it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, or any progressions that I'm also going to go through, depending on your level, where you're at, and what you need for your exercise. So without further ado, let's get started. Exercise number 1, you are going to lay on the ground flat on your stomach with your hand on one of your glutes on either side. Doesn't matter because you're going to be doing both sides. But you're going to put your hand on your glute, and then with your leg straight out, you are going to extend it upwards 2 to 3 inches. Now the key to this is making sure you have your hand on your glute and you're feeling it activate and then release at the bottom of each movement. And so you're going to do this 15 times on each leg. The second exercise, we're going to be doing a basic clamshell. And to perform the clamshell, you're going to roll over onto the side of your body and bend your knees at a 90-degree angle up towards your stomach. Again, you're going to place your hand on the glute that is on top, and you are going to raise your knee up 3 to 6 inches slowly, making sure you feel the activation, and then back down, making sure you feel the release. Now, just like the leg raises, we're going to do this 15 times on each leg, so roll over, complete it on the other leg. Directly after this, we are going to be doing the reverse clamshell, which is going to be the same exact positioning as the normal clamshell, but instead of raising your knee up 3 to 6 inches, you're going to do it with your ankle. So keeping your knees together, you're going to be lifting the opposite way on each leg. And again, 15 times each leg. Now, a big thing with these clamshells is progression. If you do them enough times, they can become fairly monotonous and easy. And so a quick fix to that is these little mini TRX bands that I love. You can simply wrap these around your knees, and it adds a little bit of resistance when you're doing the clamshell so that your glute gets activated more and has more of that progressive overload. So you can pick these up on Amazon. You can add them to almost any glute movement and it'll make it easier, harder movement, easier to progress. After the reverse clamshell, we're going to go into our fourth exercise in the circuit, which is a lateral leg raise. You're going to lie on your side with your legs straight out beneath you and simply hand on your glute, straight leg, raise your leg up, and then back down. You're going to do this 10 times on each leg. This one can be banded for the progression. It cannot be. I prefer to not do it banded simply because you're lifting your leg a super high amount and it gets kind of difficult and the bands get super stretched out and hard to control at that movement range. Finally, we have one more exercise in this circuit. Our final exercise is going to be a glute bridge. Now, my favorite way to do this is, again, take one of these bands, wrap them around your knees. You're going to lay on your back with your knees bent and your ankles closer to your butt. And then you're simply going to lift your hips up until they're above your knees, hold for 3 seconds, and then release back down. Now, the key to this movement is in the hold at the top. That's where you're getting your most activation out of the glutes. You want to make sure you do that hold for 3 seconds at least. But that's all for the glute circuit. Again, you can do all of these exercises in a row and you can do them 1 time, 2 times, 3 times through if you need more volume. And you can also add on these little bands if you need any more progression. Okay, it is Wednesday. Yesterday I did 5 miles. Today I think I'm going to go for 4. 5 miles was the longest I've done in quite a few months, so I'm definitely feeling it a little bit today in the legs. Not too much. Thankfully, not too much. I'll be able to get 4 today. Hopefully all goes well. I have a new route that I want to try out. Take me through campus a little bit, so that'll be interesting. But that's all that's on the schedule for today. It's just easy 4 miles. Then when we get back, we're going to do our second circuit worth of strength work. So I'll take you guys through that when we get back. Okay, 4 miles is complete. It was beautiful weather once again today, 50 degrees, which for February in Michigan is unheard of. I think we get about another week's worth of fantastic weather before once again the gray dome of the Midwest descends upon us. But good weather today, good weather for the rest of the week, so I was happy with it. The legs felt fine, even after yesterday, so I'm happy with that as well. But today we have another strength. Today we're going to be focusing on balancing with some single leg exercises, as well as our calves. Now the big motivating factor of this circuit, it's going to be a circuit just like yesterday, so similarly structured, but the big motivating factor is that when you're running, pretty much all of your time is spent on one leg. So we obviously need to strengthen our muscles in that single leg position, in that range of motion. So a lot of the exercises you see are going to be single leg balancing exercises to really focus on that realistic and applicable movement. So the first movement we're going to do is going to be a single leg balance. So this is easy enough, exactly how it sounds. You're going to be standing on one leg with your other leg raised up in the air and balance on that one leg for 60 seconds, switch legs, 60 seconds on the other leg. You should feel this in the bottom part of your calf, that's called your soleus, just a little bit while you're balancing this, just to get your muscles used to being in that position. After we complete this on each leg, we're going to move in what is called a weather vane. Now, to do a weather vane, you're going to start in that same position that you were just in, so balancing on one leg, and you're going to do a 90-degree hop in one direction. So you're going to go from forward to right to back, and then facing your left, and that is one repetition. And then you go back to forward the same way you came around, and that's 2 repetitions. So you're going to do 6 to 8 of these again on each leg. This is just helping those stabilizer muscles get activated and worked a little bit more. After we do weather vanes, we're going to do a single leg RDL. Now this is just like a normal deadlift RDL that you would perform in the gym, but again on one leg. So you're going to take one leg up in the air, hinge at your hips, putting your chest out in front of you and your opposite leg out behind you, and then slowly come back up. You're going to do this again 6 to 8 times for each leg. And after you've done these 3 exercises, those 3 are the exercises that you're going to do in a circuit. So you can do that 2 times through or 3 times through, just depending on how you're feeling and how progressive you want it to be. After this, we're going to move on to some calf raises, everybody's favorite exercise. First calf raise you're going to do is going to be a single leg isometric calf raise. So I like to do this on a chair, but any elevated surface will work. So what you're going to do is go into this elevated surface and place the balls of your feet right on the edge. Just going to place the heel over the edge of that elevated surface, and then you're going to simply do a single leg calf raise, going fast on the way up and then slow on the way down. That's the isometric portion, which is about 3 seconds. Not only going to work your calves, but also that Achilles tendon is going to be strengthened due to the isometric portion. After you do this for 8 to 10 reps on each leg, you can do that 2 to 3 times through, depending on how progressed you are. We're going to do the same thing, but double leg calf raises for 20 repetitions 3 times. This is just to get more volume on those muscles and get them activated more as we go. Finally, we're going to do an exercise that you don't have to do, but I like to add in just because, and it is going to be a banded tib raise. And so your tibia is again that bone and that muscle right on the front of your shins that's often neglected and often leads to shin splints. So the way we're going to work this muscle is take one of those small TRX bands that we used yesterday, wrap it around a post, a bed frame, something solid, and then extend it out with your leg and simply raise your foot in the opposite direction of the calf raise and do that 8 to 10 times, 3 times. That's pretty much the circuit that I do for these days when I'm doing balance and calf work. It hits every single muscle that you need and all the stability muscles. So you can progress it as you choose. It's very modular and easy to change up. That's what I do. I got another easy run tomorrow and we'll do our final strength circuit after that. So I'll see you then. Alright, run is complete. Today was supposed to be 4 miles, but detour I did 6 instead of 4. There's a couple of reasons for that. Reason 1 is the weather was nice and I kind of wanted to take advantage of that before it gets cold and rainy and gross again. I also felt pretty good, so I figured I might as well go for 6 instead of 4. And that leads to the last reason is it makes it easier for me as we close out the week. It gives me some options to choose from. So right now it's Thursday, which means I have 3 days left in the week. One of those days is going to be a day off from running. That leaves me 6 miles that I have to get between the next 2 days. Now originally, if I did 4 today, that was going to be 8 those Tuesdays, so I was going to have to do 4 and 4. But now I have 2 options. I can do 5 and 1. I can do 3 and 3 if I want. So I have a lot of options for how I mix up the mileage these last couple days of the week. But yeah, it was a good run overall. I'm hoping to finish out the week strong, just like today. But we're going to move into our third and final strength circuit of the week. This is one of my favorites, and I think of all 3 that we've done this week, if you're going to select one to do and focus on, choose this one. It's going to start out with a lunge circuit and a lunge matrix, which works pretty much all of your muscles in your lower legs. So that'll be your quads, your hamstrings, your hips, and your glutes. Then I'm going to do a couple of step up and single leg movements as well, just to round out the circuit. So the first thing we're going to do is called a lunge matrix. There are 4 movements in this lunge matrix, and as you can probably guess, they're all going to be different variations of a lunge. So there's going to be 4 movements that we do, and each of them you're going to do either 5 times each leg or 10 times each leg, just depending on how your body responds. So the first one, we're going to do a basic front lunge. This is very simple, just step forward into the lunge. The trick to this is the foot that you are stepping forward with, act like you're stepping over a log or a fence or something beforehand, just to get that running motion into the movement. After we do the front lunge, we're going to do the side lunge. This is exactly how it sounds, and it is just lunging straight to the side. So again, pull up your knee, go out to the side, drive your hips back and down into a lunge. You're going to do this the same amount of times the front lunge before moving into the third movement, which is backwards 45. This is going to be exactly like the side lunge, but instead you're going to be doing it backwards at a 45-degree angle. So the outside foot, instead of landing directly at the side of you, it's going to be a little bit behind you. Now you want to keep your plant foot, which is going to be the foot that doesn't move, pointing straight forward, and then your foot that's going to be moving and you're landing on it is going to be out at a 45-degree angle. And again, driving your hips back and down into the lunge. Now finally, the 4th movement out of this matrix is the reverse lunge. This is the same as a forward lunge. You're just going to drive your leg backwards instead of forwards. This lunge matrix in itself is good enough if that's all you want to do for the day. That is fine, it's plenty. But there's a couple of other movements that I also like to add in. The first set of movements is going to be a set of step-ups. This one I like to have a chair. Any elevated surface will do. We're going to start with the front step-up. I'm going to do 3 sets of this, 10 times each leg, and that's just stepping up onto the chair and driving the opposite knee. This is supposed to be an explosive movement, so make sure that you explode out of that stance. After the front step up, we're going to do the opposite, which will be a side step up. I like to start standing up on top of the chair and slowly isometrically lower myself down before trying to explode back up. We're really focusing on the negative here, which is when you're going down. That's supposed to be slow and isometric, so really make sure that you're controlling that negative. I'm going to do this again 3 times through 10 times each leg. Now that's pretty much all that I normally do. That's it for the third and final strength circuit of the week. Again, this is my favorite one and the one that I would focus on the most, but if you can get all of them, that's even better. So it's Thursday right now. We have 3 days left in the week, so I will see you back at my desk at the end of the week so we can recap everything we talked about and see what's going on moving forward.